Jones, more and more school districts cutting the school week from 5 days down to 4. The latest, Pueblo, Colorado. They say subtracting days adds up to savings. Tracy Byrne says, dumb idea for the families of this country and the economy, you say.
I hate this on so many levels. I hate the thought of my little one going to school for a longer day. She comes home exhausted as it is. So we're hurting our kids. We're hurting our place in the global world. Our education system is lacking to begin with. No one's thinking about what the cost of childcare is going to be for families that work. What do you do with these kids on the 4th day? Let's talk about teenage pregnancies on the rise, because they're going to have all the freedom in the world on day 5 when their parents are at work. And the last thing we're not talking about is slashing these pensions. No, they have to be paid their pensions, but our kids are getting sacrificed in the process. I hate it. Jonathan, why are you laughing at me?
Because we need population growth.
The man who doesn't even have kids is laughing at this whole thing. Erica, here's the thing. I was just reading an article about Kansas City. One district there cutting half the schools, just gone, abolished. I mean, that is frightening for our education system.
Right. So people can get pregnant on the 6th and the 7th day, which are Saturday and Sunday already. So that's number one. But, you know, I appreciate the point. The second point is that we have spent a lot of time in this country bashing the role of government and what it does in our lives. And I think this is a really clear example of most of the kids in this country are educated in public schools, and so we don't have the money to pay for them, and so somebody either needs to raise the money or our kids aren't going to be educated. So we have in front of us, we have in front of us
Erica,
a
do you
very
have
clear
children
choice.
in the school systems?
I have 2 nieces and a nephew in the school system.
Okay, so you don't have children in the school system.
I have a mother who is a public high school principal for my entire life of one of the largest public high schools in North Carolina. So I was raised in an education family. I think I have a pretty good grasp on the issue, but yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that because we don't have the money, it's our educational system that should be the first to go. Not all the other crap that they spend money on down in D.C., but our kids' education.
Jonathan?
Wait, that's the point. We've spent an immense amount. In the last 15 years, spending on public education in this country has doubled. And it hasn't been correlated with an increase in test scores. In fact, like the post office, surprise, surprise, public schools are cutting back. I mean, a 4-day week, I think the comparison is very acute. In both cases, you've got government having a monopoly on primary education.
You know what,
want to save the education system, privatize it.
Wayne, I want to show you a map here. Check out what's happening in this country. 17 states now have cut down to 4 days a week. I mean, this is 4 days of school. I mean, this is definitely a trend we're seeing in this country, Wayne, that's most likely going to get worse.
Yeah, but the reason is because they have to. I mean, California is going through, if you'll forgive the expression, a mini Greece right now. California is in a meltdown because they have committed so much. I tell you, the government workers, not just, and I'm not talking just about people who are employed in the educational system, meaning teachers and that sort of thing, but the whole thing is out of control. They have no way to deal with this except by cutting, and it's the worst thing they could do. They've got to cut back somewhere else and not on education.
John, you know what, though? I mean, at the same time, this could have a bad effect on the economy overall because, and Tracy knows this very well, look at the cost of daycare. I mean, you're going to have the impact on workers, some of whom are just happy to have jobs at this point. They're going to have to now deal with their children on Fridays. They didn't have to do that before.
Sure, and then what this is going to affect most is low-income people where both parents work. And like Tracy is saying, they are home on the weekends. They are not home on Fridays. And if you let kids stay home, your gang membership is going to go up. Kids are going to get into trouble. Look, I had to go to school every day in Sweetwater, Texas, and I never had one of these hot teachers hit on me like happens to some of these kids. I want my tax dollars back, but that's a separate point.
That's your own personal issues, and we understand that. But at the same time, Jonas, I mean, you know, again, going back to what it does to the economy, the negatives could be worse than trying to figure out a way to keep schools open 5 days a week.
What's worse is what you just said. Figuring out means raising taxes. Let's be honest. That's the alternative. States raising taxes even more than they already have to keep the schools open. Everybody hates big government, but no one wants to touch the schools, which is the huge component of this local and state governments, the defense budget. No one wants to touch that. No one wants to touch Medicare.
Well,
don't cover Medicare. These are why government is big.
Jonas,
Just say to jobs. If you're going to take care of your kids for another day, that means you're going to be hiring daycare workers.
With what money, Joe?
Who are unemployed, who will then be working. It's actually good for jobs.
You're holding on by the skin of your teeth with the paycheck you get now. You want me to pay
So
more
you'd rather
in
raise
daycare?
state taxes? That's
Yeah,
your
but
alternative. Let's be
No,
honest.
I'm
That's
saying,
the
stop
alternative.
taking corporate jets across
Cheryl.
the country. Stop doing things like that. before
Jonathan,
you let
help
the
me.
kids.
Are you for raising state and local taxes to keep kids in school
Cheryl.
every day?
There's only
The
hope
only
here,
way
Jonathan.
the only way
Let's
to
let
break
Jonathan see if he
generational
can
poverty
rescue
is with
Jonas.
education.
Exactly.
Cheryl, I can't believe I'm on a show with a bunch of conservatives who are really excited about the role that government plays in educating our populace. It's awesome to hear. Thanks.
Well, Lisa
That's
Loeb,
not the-
don't put me on that list, all right? I want to get government out of education. You know, Tracy, you're so eager to get your kids in front of Ward Churchill. You're so eager to get your kids in front of terrible public schools.
It's
You
not
want
the
to
point.
reform the schools, get them away from the unions, get them away from government, and actually let
it's not the
parents
point.
make decisions about their children's
Wade,
education.
you know what, Wade, at the end of the day, there are parents across this country that certainly would not mind paying a little bit more in taxes to make sure that their kids had a good education.
That is true. But as I've said before, there are other places where the states can cut, and they're not looking at those carefully enough, and they're going right to education is the first thing. They can cut in all other areas. We just showed a picture earlier of people standing around watching some guy dig a hole in a ditch. And you don't need 11 people to do that. You need 1 or 2, and that's it. And that's where they can cut.
No, I think we all need our teachers. I think we agree on that one. Coming up,
I don't agree on
guys. Coming up, think Uncle Sam's been gambling with your retirement money now? What DC's up to that someone here says will come up snake eyes for taxpayers unless you fight back.